Hello ladies, good evening. I think you've got a hazy Stephanie due to the sunshine, but that's all right as long as you can hear me. I'm sure you don't mind. It might do some favours for my the lighting. It's almost like hazy lighting. Anyway, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Stephanie. I am the coach curator of this amazing community, Women Who Don't Drink. So if you're new, welcome. I do a Facebook Live every Thursday. Sometimes I pop in randomly, but I definitely do one at least once a week. So if you've got anything you want me to tackle, please ask and I will do my best. If I can't answer it, I will look for some experts. Just so that you know, we start the next 7-day alcohol-free challenge on the 16th of July. So not this Monday coming up, the following Monday. So let's get ready, ladies. And also I have angel wing charms left. So if you're interested, I will post the link tomorrow anyway. So just let me know. Today's video is all about fear of failure, something that I feel incredibly passionate about. I probably say that in every video I do, but I do feel really strongly about this. So I really want you to listen, ladies. If failure is a thing for you, it feels really weird saying the word failure for me. I don't actually say it. It's not in my vocabulary. Yes, of course it used to be, but I can remember, I think it was in my NLP practitioner training, so that would have been 2006, the first year when I made my big change. And I can remember somebody saying to me that it's no failure, only feedback. And I was like, right, okay. And I sort of processed that, took me a while, talked about it, thought about it, things like that. And I really, really loved the concept and I was able to sort of take it on board. So since then, I've pretty much, I don't say failure. I don't say failure to other people to describe things. I don't use failure in my internal dialogue to describe what's happening, something with me. I don't. But for a lot of people, it is a thing. So I'm going to ask you to start thinking about there is no failure, only feedback. And I'm going to talk you through this. And also I want you to consider taking failure out of your vocabulary because it's a really negative word. And it has loads of different, not for everyone, but for some people, it has loads of negative connotations to it. So even sort of saying failure is a bit like, oh God, it's not actually real. So failure can feel final. It's that you're going to do something and it's not going to work, and then you're going to fail and that's going to be it. It's all going to be over and everyone will know. Well, that's not actually reality. It's not really how things work. So if you have something you want to do and you are struggling with fear of failure, the first thing I want you to do is just really double check and sit with it and check that you really want to do it. And there is actually fear of failure that's stopping you, because sometimes we're doing things, or we have a goal, or we're choosing to do things because we think that's what people expect of us, like having a baby at a certain age or going for the next step up in a job. But actually that's not what we want to do, and we want to retrain, or we want to run off and join the circus or something like that. So first of all, please check that it's something that you really want to do. Now, the thing is, if you want to do something and your failure is a thing for you, first of all, I want you to take the word failure out. So here's the thing. Let's just be really clear about this. Things are going to go wrong. It's not always going to work. We are going to make mistakes, okay? I can guarantee you that. I don't know anybody, I'm sure there are people, now you're going to tell me about people, that chooses to do something, does it, and it's all plain sailing. They're very lucky people, and they're not actually learning anything, actually. I have made a lot of mistakes, as I'm sure you're all aware, and I'm sure I will continue to make mistakes. I sometimes spend time with very successful people who also make lots of mistakes. So mistakes don't discriminate. They are not something that is restricted to a certain type of person. Everybody makes mistakes, okay? So let's be really clear. If you want to do something, things may go wrong and you may make mistakes, but that doesn't have to mean the end, okay? It's about, and we talk about this a lot in the group, about, dust yourself down, get back on track, don't make a big deal out of it, and keep moving forward. When we talk about, say last month you drank 25 days, you had 25 days alcohol free and you drank for 6 of those days. Well, the majority of the time you were alcohol free, but what people do is they focus on the days when they did drink, when actually the reality is the majority of it they didn't drink. Do you see what I mean? So it's that sort of playing a game with your head. Now, there is no failure, only feedback. Everything is information. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. When I first started my business, I had an idea about what I wanted to do. I wanted to create something that gave women like me, women like you, more choice. So women who didn't want to go to their doctor, didn't want to go to the treatment service, didn't want to go to a 12-step meeting, that wanted something different. So that was my dream, that was my vision. I had no idea how I was going to do that. And I just started. I started at the beginning, badly, with a website and an online coaching program. I borrowed some money, not a huge amount really in the grand scale of things, and I got a website built and off I trotted. It was disastrous. The website was terrible. The company that took my money probably shouldn't have done. The website didn't work. The whole thing was just a disaster. So the first year, complete waste of money, complete waste of time. I could have felt like waste of money, waste of time, what a failure, what's the point? Instead I didn't. I can't say that I felt good about it, I definitely didn't. But it's information, isn't it? It was information. So what did I learn? I learned that I didn't need to pay a lot of money for a website, and actually some website developers can't be trusted. So I used that information. This week my 16-year-old, he paid to get a stencil done that didn't work, and he got really, really stressed out about it, and he was going to give up on the project that he was running. And it's just like, okay, it's just information. What did you learn? We learned this week that if you get a stencil made up and the lines are too thin, it's not going to work. To him, that was terrible, and I'm sure you can imagine he's a teenager, but after a couple of hours he worked through it. So, we can make these things as big and catastrophic as we want to, or we can just treat them, like I say in this group, as just a blip, just move on, get back on track, off we go. Okay, it's not the end of the world. To some people, investing in a website, investing money, and I had no money left after that either, would be the end. But 3 years in, I'm still here and I'm doing things differently. So it's all information, and I've learned from it. Okay, so everything is information. So, everybody makes mistakes, as I've said. So in so many areas of our lives, we're okay with this. Like, when we're a child and we're learning something, we're always making mistakes and we're learning and growing. When we learned to walk, we didn't just get up and walk or run. We fell over lots of times and we got up. When we learned how to drive, we didn't know how to do it straight away. Parenting, we don't know how to do it. These children don't come with manuals. We make mistakes. In our relationships, we never get that right all the time. We make mistakes. So it's part of life. So I want you to sort of expand that and take that on board. So I want you to reframe it. Really, I want you to stop saying failure. And I want you to just sort of accept that we are human and that we're going to make mistakes, and it's okay, and that's how we learn, and it's all information, okay? So it's just not a big deal at all. Now, there are things we can do. So if there's something that you want to do, so I love this question. I ask people this question when I ask people what they want to do and they're not sure. So I'll say, if I could guarantee you success, what would you do? So this is a great question. Just listen for what comes up. So you're guaranteed success. What would you do? What's the one thing that you would do? So then you have something, you look at it and you think, oh my God, I couldn't possibly do that, or it's bound to go wrong, or it's going to be really hard, that type of stuff. This is where pre-planning, thinking about what obstacles are going to come up, your preparation, but ultimately being aware that nobody knows what life is going to throw at them. So for instance, planning my business, I knew that my plan wasn't great because I know that I didn't know what I was doing. I know what I'm doing in terms of coaching and how to support people, but I didn't know how to build a website or anything like that. So I was well aware that there was a lot of potential for things to go wrong. Okay, so failure means there is something to be learned, or that it's time to go in a different direction, okay? But don't use the word failure and then it just, we just take the sting out of it. It's not such a big thing. So another way that this can happen, I see this happen a lot, is when people want a certain job. This comes back to the question, if I could guarantee you success, what would you do? And people are applying for lots of jobs and they go for, say, 3 interviews, 4 interviews, and they're not getting the job and they get despondent and they feel like giving up. It's the same as with anything. If you really want something, you just keep going. It is persistence, it's patience. Maybe at that point you look for some coaching, some specialist coaching around interview techniques, or you find a mentor that can support you to get the job that you want. You find someone that can help you move to the next step, and that doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Quite often, if there's a job that you want in a certain field, you can find someone that's doing it and they will be more than happy to spend a bit of time talking to you. I think I lost you. Oh yes, okay, I'm back. Right. So I want you to choose how you see it, okay? Actually, I want you to stop saying failure. I've said that a few times. That's what I want you to do. But I want you to be aware that you can choose how you see it. So when something doesn't work out, it can be the end. You can choose for it to be catastrophic, dramatic, the end of the world. You can choose that, or you can choose to see it as just a moment where something didn't work out and it's information and you can learn from it. Something really good to do and have a look around on the internet is there's quite a few blogs actually about hugely successful people and how they've made mistakes, they haven't always got things right, and how they've just continued, really ploughed forward and carried on with their dreams. So it's not that people who do really well don't make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I hope you've got that one clear. I've said it enough times, we all make mistakes. So planning, preparation, outcomes. Think about your perspective. If you're struggling with that, then talk to a few other people that you trust. Everyone will have a different perspective. So it's worth sort of looking at it from different points of view. Another way to look at it is, what is the worst that can happen? So when I left my secure job and I then set up my business, I looked at all these options, so what was the worst that could happen? Well, the worst that could happen was I ran out of money and it didn't work, and so then what would be my plan B? Well, I did run out of money and it didn't work. My plan B was always that I could go and get a job, and I could literally go and get a job anywhere. So then that sort of took the sting out of it. So if there's something that you want to do and the fear of failure is holding you back, I want you to take the failure out of it, and I want you to spend a bit of time just doing some planning, some preparation, thinking it through, maybe getting a different perspective from different people. Ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen and what is plan B, okay? So I always knew with my business that, and I still know it, so my plan B is always that I can just go and get a job, whether that's in Lidl's or Co-op, and I can always go and do that and I can earn money and I can pay my bills. So that just means, okay, well, I just keep going then, okay? The other thing as well is that, is going back to the video last week about confidence. So when you have something that you want to do, it's about doing it in baby steps, okay? So you build self-efficacy so that you start small and you do it bit by bit, and then that way you build up your confidence to get to where you want to go, okay? So I hope you found that useful, ladies. Let me know if this is an issue for you. We can have a conversation. but I'd love you to answer my question of, if you were guaranteed success, what would you be doing? Okay, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye.